Hi everybody! I am late tonight because I have a little bit of allergies and a summer cold, I think it is. But I know that we promised that we would read every night, and I am so my hair. I am so sorry I am late, but I wanted to keep my word and my commitment with you. For those of you who sent information in to the info at theboldmovement.com, we really appreciate that. And I know I said the deadline is today. I will give you till midnight, and actually I'm going to extend the deadline until tomorrow at midnight. So I am so very sorry that this is not the 7:30 time. I cannot believe this, and I am so sorry. But I see some people are jumping on to be with us, and I'm so thankful that you're here. It makes my whole day. Now you'll notice I have a shirt on, and this is my daughter. She was in a pageant for River Days, and she actually won the crown. So we had family over this evening. We celebrated her birthday. It was actually on the 20th, but we celebrated it tonight because when you have little ones of your own, you kind of get pulled in a lot of different directions to have celebrations. So let's jump right into the story. And this is 10 ways to be perfect. So a perfect gift idea would be a t-shirt or a hat or a cup or a pen from theboldmovement.com. So check us out. We have some really cool gifts that we could give to you. Hey Paula, I'm so sorry that I was not on at 7:30. We have family over for Kayla's birthday, and I've got a little bit of this allergy stuff going on, but we will get through this. I should have maybe taken a little bit of allergy medicine before I started, and I am so sorry again. It looks like, hey Anita, I've got my phone sitting down in a little holder, so that's why I have to keep looking up to see who's joining in. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you have really great Memorial Day plans, and stay safe this holiday, this really important holiday to us, to honor those who sacrificed everything for our rights and freedoms. So this is 10 ways to be perfect. And this is about Moses and the 10 Commandments. And this comes from Exodus chapters 16 and 17 and 19 through 40. So there they all were. The grannies, granddads, babies, uncles, aunts, children, moms, and dads. Out there in the middle of the desert, they had blisters from all the walking. They were hungry and thirsty and much, much too hot. We don't like it, they said. It stinks. And so did they, for that matter, because no one had taken a bath in weeks. What? Nobody had taken a bath in weeks? Okay, let me ask you something. What do you think you would smell like if you hadn't taken a bath in weeks? What? Robbie and Ethan, say hi. Hi, guys. How are you? Thank you for joining in with your mom. How awesome. Do you think your mom would like it, boys, if you didn't take a bath for weeks? No, I don't think she'd like that very much. But if I'm not mistaken, one of you boys just graduated. Was it kindergarten? I think you just celebrated a kindergarten graduation. So congratulations, Mr. Parrish, on your much-deserved accomplishment. No, Paula said no. Never mind. Don't pay any attention to me right now. So, or maybe she's saying no, she wouldn't like it if you wouldn't take a bath. There's a little bit of a delay from the time I ask the question to the time I get the response. So, if we think, oh, now she said thanks. Okay, congratulations again. I'll get it straight. So, since we're talking about bathing, I did take a shower this afternoon, and my granddaughter really liked my lotion. So I'm really excited about that. So if they hadn't taken a bath in weeks, I could just imagine what that smell would be like. Ooh, yuck, right? So now remember, because this is something they'd forgotten, God had done amazing things for his people. He'd hidden them inside a cloud. He'd moved the sea, and he'd set them free. And by moving the sea, they're talking about when this group of people, they needed to cross, and they were at the Red Sea, and they couldn't cross in the water. So God parted the water for them and let them walk through. That's another miracle, much like what we talked about last night. The sun didn't set. Well, that's amazing. to have just one day that the sun doesn't set. And then this time the sea just like parts so you can walk across. That's amazing. But God's people weren't happy. They didn't care about being free. Wasn't it better when they were slaves? Can you imagine thinking it would be better to be a slave? At least they'd had lots of nice food to eat. Now that doesn't sound very good, does it? God doesn't want us to be happy, they said. It was the same lie that Adam and Eve had heard all those years before. God has brought us out here to kill us. God doesn't love us. But they didn't know God very well, did they? So here's some pictures of the desert. I'm so sorry about my voice. Every day of their journey, God kept on showing his people how well he would look after them if they would trust him and obey him. When they were hungry, God made the sky rain with food, bread coming down from heaven, and it was called manna. What is it? They asked each other. They didn't know, so they called it. What is it? Which of course is a very good name for something when you don't know what it is. When they were thirsty and started quarreling, God made water flow from a rock. Remember, we talked about that. Moses called that place quarreling because that seemed like a good name too. And all God's children didn't trust him or do what he said. They thought they could do a better job of looking after themselves and making themselves happy. But God knew there was no such thing as happiness without him. So God led them to a tall mountain. God wanted to talk to his people and show them what he was like. He wanted to help them know him better and tell them about the special land he was going to give them. The whole earth belongs to me, God said, but I have chosen you. You are my special family. I want you to live in a way that shows everyone else what I'm like, so they can know me too. So here they are collecting their manna, which was bread falling out of the sky. And here is where they got water from the rock. Do you remember the water from the rock? Do you remember what Moses did to get water from, was it Moses who got water from the rock? Do you remember who it was? Do you remember what he did? If you can remember, type it in there. God called Moses up the mountain. The great mountain shook. A thick cloud fell. Thunder roared. Lightning crackled. And God gave Moses 10 rules called commandments. I want you to love me more than anything else in the world, in all of the world, and know that I love you too. God told them that's the most important thing of all. And here's a picture of him being on top of the mountain. God gave them other rules, like don't make yourself a pretend God. That's like an idol. And don't kill people or steal or lie. The rules show God's people how to live and how to be close to him and how to be happy. They showed how life worked best. Sorry about that. They showed how life worked best. God promises to always look after you, Moses said. Will you love him and keep these rules? We can do it. Yes, we promise. But they were very wrong. They couldn't do it. No matter how hard they tried, they could never keep God's rules all the time. God knew they couldn't, and he wanted them to know it too. Only one person could keep all the rules. Do you know who that one person is? Think about it. He was the only perfect person to ever live on earth. And many years later, God would send him to stand in their place and be perfect for them. Because the rules couldn't save them. Only God could save them. Here's a picture of Moses holding the 10 Commandments and the people listening. And you notice in that picture it looks like a desert, doesn't it? So when you think about what it is that God asks us to do, those are some pretty hard things to follow. It might be easy to not kill somebody, but Is it easy not to lie? Is it easier to tell the truth? Yes. But sometimes we lie anyway, don't we? Or maybe sometimes it says not to covet. And what that means is not to want something that somebody else has. So if you're thinking like, what is it that maybe somebody got a PS4 or an Xbox 360, or maybe they got a brand new football or something, and you really want that, coveting is wanting what somebody else has for your own. That's a sin. It could also be construed as jealousy. I want that so bad, I don't want them to have it. But the really fun fact is that God already knew that we were going to want these things and that we would sin. So he had already planned to send Jesus, his son, to earth to die for us. So that way we could trust in him and ask for forgiveness, and God would forgive us. It's okay to know that you're not perfect. And it's okay not to be perfect, because God knows we're not going to be perfect. But it's not okay to know you did something wrong and not to ask for forgiveness. So if there's something that's kind of eating at you tonight, they're like, well, I'm really sorry I did that, and it kind of bothers you and you think about it, it's okay. God already knows. So just say, God, I'm so sorry I did that, and I just want to talk to you about it. And we've talked in our lessons about having a conversation with God and praying to God and asking him to forgive us. And it's that easy. If we do something wrong to somebody else, we have to ask them to forgive us, and we ask God to forgive us. And it's forgotten. But these 10 commandments, it's in Exodus. So I challenge you tonight to get your Bibles out and look at Exodus and see if you can find out what all 10 of those rules are, and see if maybe, just maybe, there's one that you're keeping all the time and maybe one you're not keeping all the time, and see if you can work really hard to try to do what God has asked us to do. Thank you so, so much for being with us tonight. We really appreciate it. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, or Twitter with The Bold Movement. Or if you have any questions, you can email us at info at theboldmovement.com. So thank you so much for being with us tonight. Hopefully my voice will be a little better tonight or tomorrow night, and we'll be right back on track at 7:30. Have a super great weekend. Stay safe. It's supposed to be like 90 degrees Monday, so stay cool and enjoy the time with your family. Don't forget, you had homework. Let's see if you got it turned into us. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Thank you so much for supporting us. I'll see you later. Bye, boys. Have a great night. And girls. Bye.